All right, y'all, we are back once again. We got a hot show, folks. I'm pissed off this afternoon, okay? I am pissed off to the highest level of festivity. I'll tell you why in a few minutes. Before I do that, I got to do this right here. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark to concerts in the park. We're live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. We do this every Tuesday. Me and my main man Dusty. I'm Batman. He Robin. If I'm Green Hornet, that makes him Kato. Oh hell no! Kato kicked ass. What's up, Kato?
Lonzo, my man.
What up, Doc?
Dude, yeah, I felt it in that text, man. I knew exactly why you were upset. We'll get into that. Let's talk about it. We'll jump into it first. We're going to say hi to everybody in the chat. What up, chat? Please hit that like button before, you guys get all comfortable. But you sent me a podcast, and I'll call it a podcast, even though these I hate these AI voice podcasts now. They just no feeling to them. But it was talking about Dr. Dre specifically, and you are obviously a big part of Dr. Dre's story. And they told your story in their words. So what I want to do, Lonzo, is I'm going to play a clip from that. And it's about 4 minutes long or something like that. So everybody, kick up your feet, relax and everything. And I want to play it. And you stop me, Lonzo, whenever you want to call, BS specifically. How does that sound?
You got it.
All right, cool. I'm going to play it right now. And I'll put the link in the description so we can at least give shout outs to this particular podcast. But here it is right here. This is, I guess this could be summed up of how N.W.A. formed, but this is leading up to it. And this is where Alonzo Williams comes into the picture in this person's mind. So I'm going to play Alonzo and you tell me when to stop.
Cool.
All right, 1 second.
Dr. Dre's first ever musical group, World Class Wreckin' Crew, was a group formed by a guy named Lonzo Williams. Williams had a very impressive jerry curl and owned a nightclub in Compton called Eve After Dark. The Wreckin' Crew began as a group of DJs called Disco Construction, named after the 70s funk band Brass Construction. After disco was outlawed by white racists, they changed their name to the vaguely hip-hop sounding but also kind of pro-wrestling sounding World Class Wreckin' Crew. They often performed in Lonzo Williams nightclub. Williams was always looking for opportunities to benefit from.
So far, everything's sounding legit, right, Lonzo?
Stop you right
no.
there.
Oh, well, stop. There we go. All right, hold on. Let me take it back 10 seconds and then stop.
World Class Wreckin' Crew. They often performed in Lonzo Williams nightclub.
All right, we'll stop there, Lonzo. Talk to me.
We ain't never played Eve After Dark. World Class Wreckin' Crew never played at Eve After Dark. First of all, let's back up. Eve After Dark is not in Compton. Never was, never will be. It's just outside of Compton. It's close, but it's not Compton. Eve After Dark has a LA address. Okay. This whole tone of this shit is kind of condescending to me, man. It really pisses me off that people play me off like I'm some kind of weak ass vulture just taking advantage of everybody. I never liked that shit, man. I can't even let that shit slide by in no way, form, or fashion, because that ain't never been Lonzo. Okay, it's really frustrating to hear some AI generated bullshit that's made up by somebody who fed it to the machine. And Lonzo Williams, I had a studio in his club. No, I didn't have a studio in my club. Eve After Dark was not in Compton.
We're gonna get there. Let's take it. All right, yeah.
And we did name it was the Wreckin' Crew. It was Disco Construction and the Wreckin' Crew. Wreckin' Crew. We never recorded under Disco Construction. It was my production company was called Disco Construction, and the guys who carried my equipment, my roadies, were called the Wreckin' Crew. That was later transferred over to the whole group of folks that worked at Eve After Dark. They became the Wreckin' Crew. Go ahead.
All right, let's continue this, and you stop me whenever you want to elaborate or call BS.
Williams was always looking for opportunities to benefit from what's known in MBA classes as corporate synergy. A teenage Dr. Dre began hanging out outside Eve After Dark. Unfortunately for young Dre, whoever the...
Dre ain't never hung outside of no Eve After Dark. This is bullshit. This is what I mean. Dre came to Eve because Dre knew me. He knew I ran the club. We didn't run together, but he wasn't hanging outside the club like some kind of thug or some shit. This is bullshit. Go ahead, man.
Let's go.
The Eve After Dark equivalent of I Don't Want You Here was wouldn't let Dr. Dre in because he was only like 16, although he'd already been DJing for a few years by then.
Stop.
Then, in a scene...
How the fuck? He been DJing for a few years at 16 years old. Come on, man. Come on, dude. This is ridiculous, man. This is how shit gets started. And I find myself arguing with some wannabe hip-hop head about some shit they heard on some third-party shit. Here, I got my own podcast. Assholes won't tune in. They won't like, share, subscribe. They'll make up stories. And this shit gets even crazier as we go along. But this is how this kind of shit that really pisses me off. That I'm some kind of opportunities. I took advantage of a bunch of kids. Never did that. Go ahead.
Let's go.
Right out of some cliche Hollywood film, one of the guys from the Wrecking Crew didn't show up. Dr. Dre convinced Lonzo to let him DJ, and the rest, as they say,
stop right there,
is history. World-class Wrecking Crew quickly developed a...
I'll tell anybody, the first time I say this in every speech I've ever made, every presentation I've ever made, I'm going to say it again. I don't know how Dre got on my turn. He didn't ask me. He might have talked to Unknown. Everybody was there. Yellow was there. I was there. Unknown was there. I think it was Unknown slot that he let him come on in and do his thing. But that the fact that somebody was missing, nobody ever missed the Eve After Dark. You niggas came to the club, stick of the dog. Nobody wanted to miss the Eve. I can't ever recall anybody. I mean, Cashiers, Unknown, Yellow. If a nigga had the flu, they lock him in the booth and DJ his ass off. Go ahead.
Before we go ahead, the STEM radio caught something that I want you to elaborate on, and it sounds like he does as well. Well, how about the part where it said you are always looking to benefit from corporate synergy? That right there sounded bad.
What the fuck is corporate synergy? Okay.
I have no idea. That's why I did. Hey, STEM, help us out. I know what corporate is, and I know what synergy is, but I don't know what they mean when they're together.
Look, check this out. When you are a natural-born hustler, you see opportunities and you make them happen. You develop them, okay? Whether it's in the club, whether it's starting a teen nightclub, being the first mobile DJ, there's an opportunity. Somebody told me a long time ago, find what people love and they'll always, find what people need and they'll always need you. Do what you love for a living and you never work hard a day in your life. These are two things I've always lived by. So when I saw certain things happening, I found a way to make it. I found a way to take advantage of it. I'm gonna take advantage of it and make it work for everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's see. Before we continue, hold on one second. I want to go to a comment that T-Lig says, don't take this as disrespect, but can Lonzo not talk about anything other than N.W.A? He's been doing it nonstop since 2015. Surely there's more to him. Just so you know, before you comment on that, Lonzo, I would encourage T-Lig to go in the archives, and I can guarantee you in the past 7 days of the videos that we posted, 1 or 2 is about N.W.A. The other 5 are about various topics that we cover on this show, from the crime in the city that we live in to street racing to prostate cancer. Those are literally just a few of the things we discussed in the past 7 days on the channel. So I encourage you to please go to the channel and you will see that maybe N.W.A is probably not even 20% of the content that we cover on this channel. People tend to like it. And and Lonzo is telling his story. If he let this AI character, whatever, just this BS keep going, that's going to be the story. If Lonzo doesn't clear this stuff up, I hope you understand it's him clearing this stuff up. I don't want to speak to you, Lonzo, but what do you say to that person?
Exactly, Doc. I realized a long time ago, anytime you let something like this go unchallenged, it becomes etched in stone, and you got non-hip hop believers of every and anything they hear. And like I said, I'll find myself arguing with somebody about this same bullshit. So I got to do something to refute, counter it, so that at least there is a record someplace that this shit is bullshit. And I don't know. I don't talk about N.W.A as much as people want me to, Like I said, like Dusty just said, I got a whole other side of Lonzo, far away from N.W.A. But today, I got to take this time to get this shit straight just on the strength.
Yes, sir. Let's continue with this AI-generated podcast.
The following, to the point where Lonzo was able to
Let me take it back just 10 seconds.
rest, as they say, is history. World-class Wreckin' Crew quickly developed a following, to the point where Lonzo was able to secure a deal with CBS Records for $100,000. Despite the amazing success of the world-class Wreckin' Crew, Dr. Dre was often broke during this era.
Stop.
Lonzo Williams gave
Look here. This is the part right here that kind of got me a little heated, because $100,000 for a record in 1987 ain't a lot of money. But I know it does sound like a lot of money to a lot of people. And in fact, when I got it at that time, when I got it back in 1987, I thought we was balling out of control. Okay. By the time you pay the lawyer, buy the tape, pay the studio, do whatever else you're doing while you're in the studio recording the album, whatever musicians you got, you might have about $60,000 or $70,000. Fortunately for me, I didn't have a manager. If I'd have had a manager, that at 100,000 would have became 80 automatically, and then I still got to pay the same bills of a lawyer, studio time, engineers, the whole 9 yards. We're not talking about some backyard boogie studio on a laptop and somebody going into the bathroom and hollering out a bunch of bullshit. We in top-notch studios making this shit happen. When we finally got our final settlement from after all our expenses, we had about $70,000. Okay. Everybody, I got more. I got more than everybody else did. Why? Because I do, and I did more than everybody else. I owned a production company. I owned all the equipment, and I was the boss. Okay, and I was a group member. So that's something people forget. I wasn't just a record company. I was a part of the groups. I had multiple shares coming, as they called it in the world of finance. I had multiple streams of income. I was a group member. I was a writer on the song. I was a performer. I was a label owner. I was a production company owner. Hey, I'm sorry, but I had to wear them hats to get where we was going. Nobody else could wear them motherfuckers. I had to act as a manager and not take 20%, so everybody can have a decent amount of money. When we got our money, our final check from CBS, everybody had borrowed advance money from me before we got the check, because I'm the only one got any money, and I know this it covers that too. But it says it in such a fucked up way. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Yes, you got folks that want to buy jewelry and cars and shit, and they don't have no money. So I know we got money coming, and I just sold that receipt book to Columbia. No, it wasn't Columbia.
The University in New York, right? Cornell?
Yeah,
Is it Cornell?
Cornell University. I sold that receipt book to Cornell University for $5,000 because it had the receipt. It had carbon copies of all the receipts that Dre, Yella, Shakespeare, and even Ice Cube signed during that time. Okay, because I knew if something ever happened to me, that receipt book that had no value to anybody at my house, it would probably end up in a garbage can in a landfill. I'll make a long story short, which is almost too late. When they got their money, they got a small lump sum, maybe 5,000 or 6,000. Shit. The next day at my house, it was like watching the movie 5 Heartbeats. Everybody had a new car. I already had a BMW 635. Dre already had the RX-7. Yella pulls up in the 914 Porsche, and Shakespeare pulls up in the 280ZX. Okay, everybody got brand new. They're not brand new cars, but we upped on their vehicles. Okay. Now, the deal was everybody was going to get, I don't know, X amount of bucks a month so they wouldn't spend the money all in one lump sum. But you got youngsters. I think Dre might have been 20, 21. Shit. Man, that money might have lasted 4-5 weeks, because as soon as I give them a check for that week, they come back and get it advanced the next week. I mean, the next few days. And it never worked out for them. So they spent their money. Understand this. If you gave, I don't know, somebody 20 years old, $15,000, access to $15,000 in a short period of time, they're gonna blow it. Now, I paid them the money. I can't even tell them how to spend it. And that's the part they always blame me for. Why didn't you get all? No, 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 no. I bought cars and houses, preferably houses, studios, and all kind of other shit with my money. Everybody else money went to other places like motels and various clinics for various reasons. I didn't have that same problem, so I still had a little bit of money. And even that, after that, I still ended up being cash poor because I had to take care of everybody for a while. But nobody gonna tell you. Nobody gonna tell you about that part because the AI motherfucker wasn't here when I was doing the shit. Go ahead.
True, Dr. Dre was often broke during this era. Lonzo Williams gave him very little, if any, of the 100,000 grand he got from CBS Records, explaining that he was the leader of the group. And Dr. Dre didn't understand what the expenditure running a group like that entailed. Lonzo Williams would loan Dr. Dre money. Lonzo let Dr. Dre drive one of his old cars so he'd have a way to get...
Stop. Let Dr. Dre drive one of my old cars. let me tell you something about Lonzo. Lonzo been a car enthusiast since he was 15 years old. No bullshit. I've owned over 75 cars personally. I never owned a car lot. I have bought, sold, and traded 75 cars in my life, over 75 cars in my life. I got 2 cars right now. All my cars are in great shape. So I take care of my cars. I like cars. I was buying my BMW. I hadn't bought it yet. I bought it from overseas. Dre was on my ass to buy the RX-7. I don't like selling cars to my friends. When I sell a car, I don't want to see it no more. I don't want to see it get destroyed. I don't see what I missed. I don't want to see it no more. That's just how I am. 2 cars that I sold against my better judgment to 2 people that were close to me was my brother and Dr. Dre. I sold my brother my BMW, my 635, and I bought the 300ZX. He tore it up. Just ran it in the ground. It was his though. I couldn't say shit. But again, it's like seeing somebody that you care about just go to hell in a handbasket. And pretty much the same thing happened with this RX-7. You know, it was going up and down the street getting tickets, blah, blah, blah. But push the button, man, and listen to this bullshit that's about to come up in just a few minutes. Go ahead, Justin.
Lonzo let Dr. Dre drive one of his old cars so he'd have a way to get around. Dre would get tickets driving Lonzo's car and wouldn't pay them. Eventually, LA would put a warrant out for Dre's arrest. He'd get pulled over again, and he'd have to go to jail. And the story goes, he'd call Lonzo to bail him out, which I'm sure was a difficult phone call to make, having to explain to someone that you've run up $900 in 1986, money in speeding tickets while driving their car, and now you need them to come down to the police station, a place that's filled with MFN cops, and post bail. Lonzo would have just let him sit there, except he needed Dr. Dre to play concerts and produce songs for world-class wrecking crew. Bail money would just have to come.
I'm a slave driver. I'm just a fucking slave driver. First of all, back in the day, a warrant wasn't but $166. That's all. A warrant was $166. Now, at this time, when that shit was going down, that was a lot of money for all of us because we all was pretty much financially dry. Jerry curls was dry. Beepers were getting turned off left and right. Shit was not going very well for us. And I got him out twice. Damn near about 3 or 4 weeks apart. And this is something I told him, and I say this all the time, anybody, even all my sons. Like my dad told me, I'm going to get you out the first time because everybody's going to make that mistake in most cases. Second time, you might didn't figure it out, but I'm going to come get you again. Third time, nigga, you got a bad habit going. You need to figure this out for yourself. And that's pretty much what it was. It wasn't no $900-something worth of tickets. It was only like 166. And like one thing he did say, we didn't have nowhere to go. We didn't have nowhere to go. So you spend the weekend in there, you be out Monday. And that wasn't the case. Go ahead.
To play concerts and produce songs for world-class wrecking crew. Bail money would just have to come out of the money he wasn't paying Dre anyway. Following that incident, Lonzo set up a makeshift recording studio in the back of Eve After Dark and actually charged Dre to work.
I ain't never had a studio at Eve After Dark, and I ain't never charged his ass for no studio time. Never. Dre gave away more studio time, and I couldn't even make no money on the studio half the time because he was giving it away. That's how me and Easy got into it half the time, because although you got Dre out of jail, Lonzo didn't go to jail. So therefore, when you push record, you owe me money. Okay, I don't mind you making beats, use my keyboard, drum machines, but when that machine starts running, that shit has to be monitored, it has to be repaired, it has to be serviced. Every time that shit, you put an hour on that machine, at some point in time, it's going to cause it to be serviced. I got to get paid for it. Go ahead.
Lonzo set up a makeshift recording studio in the back of Eve After Dark and actually charged Dre to work there, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
This was where Dre and Yella perfected the production techniques they'd later use on albums like Straight Outta Compton and N.W.A. Life. So it wasn't a complete loss. But the idea of paying someone an hourly rate to use his studio to work on songs for his album, for which you wouldn't receive royalties, is absurd.
That's
really absurd.
See, this is the kind of shit that just paints me as being some kind of fucking tyrant. I'm going to charge you studio time for album that you making for me? Are you out of your fucking mind? That don't even make no damn sense. We were in this as a collective. Everybody had their own, everybody had their roles. I bought all the shit. They did the beats. We all made money together. Now, if I bought houses with my money and y'all spent your money on other shit, that's not my problem. Everybody grown too. Everybody over 18. Everybody's over 21 by this time. Or damn near. So it's my responsibilities are limited. I can coach and I can mentor, but if you don't listen, that ain't on me. Go ahead.
Eventually, someone stole Lonzo's car that Dr. Dre was driving, went for a joyride in it, and probably used it either to K a hooker or to knock over a convenience store. Police found it abandoned somewhere and placed it in an impound. Dr. Dre was then picked up on another warrant. When Lonzo found out that his car was in a tow lot somewhere, possibly with blood in the trunk, he didn't want to post bail for Dr. A. There must not have been another world-class Wreckin' Crew tour coming up anytime soon.
Stop.
That kind of music was...
These disses in AI, though, sound a little extra harsh, dog. Like, what the fuck? I've never been dissed by AI.
This motherfucker got attitude. This is an AI with attitude. God damn. I mean, here's you think this motherfucker was human. This is the part that make it sound so convincing. First of all, the car was not stolen. I ain't never had no car. The RX-7 was not stolen. The motherfucker got repossessed. Okay, they came and got it because folks stopped paying. I paid all the car notes I could pay. I had my own car note. I had my own house note. I couldn't pay it no more. Car got repossessed, and it wasn't until they got paid till Jerry Heller came to me and paid it off and got it off my credit, got it off Dre's credit. He was trying to buy his first house. He came to me, hey man, how much is it? I co-signed for the car. I went down to the finance company that had I paid the car off, and he wanted to buy it. I went to the finance company, said I was, hey, I'm his uncle, co-signed for the car, so I'm responsible for the goddamn payments. That's kind of dude I am, and that's why I feel I get such a fucked up rap between people not telling the whole story, and now with this AI bullshit. Come on, man. When the car got repossessed, it was gone. My credit was fucked up. His was temporarily fucked up. And when he got ready to buy his first house, Jerry Heller called me, hey, man, what about this car you co-signed for Dre? Hey, man, it's like $2,000-$3,000, whatever the case may be. They paid it off. Everybody stepped into the sunset. Wasn't no car and no impound with no blood in it because it was used in a robbery or some old bullshit like that. This AI shit, this is going to make me hate AI a whole lot more. I'm already suspect of this shit, but now when you become victim of it, come on, man, this is crazy. Go ahead.
All right, we have about 30 seconds left.
Was already kind of played out by the time World Class Wreckin' Crew began. kind of played out by the time World Class Wreckin' Crew began. Dre was stuck in jail for the time being, and that's how and when Easy E came into the picture. When Lonzo Williams refused to bail Dr. Dre out of jail because Dr. Dre somehow lost Lonzo's car, I guess they wouldn't just give Lonzo his car back on the basis that it had been stolen, and he wasn't the one who'd racked up multiple traffic violations on it. Dre called Easy E.
And while I was talking to Dick,
And there you go. That's when your name wasn't mentioned at all. That was your time in that AI podcast thing.
Now, it wasn't my car. That's what this AI asshole don't understand. It was Dre's car. I sold it to him.
OG Steve, love you, brother.
Much love, OG Steve. I had nothing to do with the car at that time. I didn't know it got repossessed until shit. It showed up on my goddamn credit report. That's when I know it got repossessed. And he didn't care nothing about it because he didn't take care of it. That's when I told you, I think I told y'all when the car, he had put some banging ass sounds in there, woofers and tweeters and alpines and shit. And somebody busted the window out and took all that shit out of there. About a couple days later, he replaced all that shit, put it back in there. We at the Wiltern Theater down on Western and Wilshire. And I think it was Jinx or somebody came, hey man, it's a guy in Dre's car stealing the stereo. And the motherfucker, we walk outside, they didn't caught this dude. They didn't caught him. Homeboy they said they caught him. He had the Alpine under his arm, like OJ running through the airport back in the day, right? And when they brought him back to the car, I'm like, wait a minute, how did he get in the car? Because the window was down. I said, why you did the window down? And somebody with a lot of money told me, oh man, I put the stereo in there, but I couldn't afford to put the window back. I said, I'm not whooping this guy's ass. I'm not doing that. I'm not beating this guy's ass. You didn't buy a window, but you bought the stereo, and it was a pull out. Why you didn't pull the motherfucker out? I'm out, dude. I'm out. So hey, man, I'm the worst motherfucker in the world. I fucked over everybody. I ain't do shit right. But again, AI, fuck you. Okay, I'm not gonna be that dude for AI. All right. So yeah, I gotta defend myself from AI. Now we can talk about some other shit right now, but fuck AI. If they you
yeah, we can. We can. You all riled up. I hope you got it out. I felt that energy, you was having at the beginning of the show, Hey, let me ask you a question, Lonzo, to kind of wrap it up in a bow. But, when does it become defamation of character? There's obviously lies in there. How is it worth suing people? Like, how would that whole thing even go? Now that we have AI involved, it's probably even harder.
That's a good question. You have half a story that's been going around for decades about everything on the West Coast, and everybody tends to make themselves out to be superheroes, and nobody spreads the credit around where its credit is due. Everybody is a superhero. Everybody walked on the water, fed the masses with a loaf of bread, all by themselves. Didn't need no help. Nobody. And anything that before that was derogatory to my story or to the story. And, and so that's why I do this podcast, That's why I got 2 documentaries right now to show you the real story from my perspective of what transpired. And nobody was bad. That's the part that really is confusing. Nobody was bad. We all were dumb. We all were unintelligent when it came to the game we were trying to play. We were playing football. We were playing professional football with high school rules or with street rules. We had no idea what we were doing. But I had the heart to give it a try. I'm not gonna tell you I was perfect by no means. I didn't learn about publishing nothing till after I got the CBS deal. I didn't know nothing about that shit. But I broke people off on a regular basis. Why would you hang with me for 3, 4, 5 years with nobody? Come on, man. Come on. So, yeah. But you don't get credit for the good things. Nobody talks about the good things that you did, about the fact that you even co-signed for somebody a car in the first place. Because I would never do that again in my life. I would never do that again. Never, ever will I co-sign for somebody again. Not gonna do it. Okay.
Hell no.
I've been asked multiple times, and I got excellent credit. I'm not going to do it because now you put yourself on the hook. If they don't do it, now you got to do it. And I made the mistake of not so much co-signing, but allowing people to be on my phone plan. When I had Nextel phones, I had like 9, 10 Nextel phones. Everybody worked for my company had a Nextel phone with the understanding I'm gonna give you your money. Shit. Niggas got more excuses than a nigga in jail, but I had to give you your money when phone bill came around. I paid too many $600, $700 phone bills waiting on somebody to get paid on the 15th or the 1st just to find out that shit, you ain't got no money nowhere. You ain't got a job. Because back in the day, they would give you a cell phone like it wasn't shit. If you had a business, you could get 8, 9 phones. Like it wasn't shit. So that right there was a lesson I learned, and I will never make that mistake again. But I also learned a lesson a long time ago that when somebody says something to you, especially something that goes on the internet, you have to have some place somewhere to refute that shit. If not, that shit will become etched in stone in the minds of the less informed and the AI non-resistant AI enthusiast. Because that shit right there sounded like that motherfucker was mad like you know me personally or some shit.
Right? Like you screwed him personally. I'm like, damn, you know that dude, Lonzo?
Computers or some shit. I ain't never stuck my dick in no computer. Shit.
Hey, man, you sure? 80s were crazy, dog.
All right.
That Macintosh over there looked like a nice fat booty.
You know what? I'm waiting on somebody to license my song, Horny Computer. We got a song called Horny Computer on one of our first albums. That's gonna be some shit right there. Anyway, go ahead. We got the song called Horny Computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, we can't go over that. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, because was it a take on computer love? I'm assuming.
That's exactly what it was. It was
Horny Computer, a take on computer love.
It was an up-tempo song called Horny Computer, and it was all vocoder. We had the vocoder. We had to figure out some way to make it work again. We used it on Juice, and we still had it, and we did it called Horny Computer, and it wasn't a big song for us, but it with AI being what it is right now, and all these robotic dolls and shit, yeah, Horny Computer may have a life of its own outside of the B-sides of World Class Wrecking Crew.
I'm looking at it right now. Horny Computer. Damn, that's hilarious, man. Hey, this one video alone has 8,000 copies. I love this track. Get Down, Wrecking Crew. I was 15 when I heard this record at a house party, and my buddy had a Newmark EQ with a Spectrum light. Horny Computer is captivating to this day. Thank you, brother Lonzo, for making all the songs back in the day. It was well ahead of its time. That's just some random comment on YouTube that I found on a video.
So and here's something. Even in the AI, the one thing they got right this whole damn scenario was the music shifted. The music shifted, and we were making computer shit in 87, 88. And folks was on some gangster shit, and it didn't only affect us; it affected everybody that was anything that wasn't gangster by 1990, or by 1990, shit, it was pretty much old school by then. New Jack was the second hottest thing, and that shit ended up on life support. Okay, it choked the shit out of New Jack. Luke was still popping down south, but it still didn't pop the same way when gangster rap came around. And it was a different kind of groove. The world had been introduced to something else, and everything got whacked real quick. Shit, go ahead.
Yeah, that's facts. All right, only because it's your song and we normally don't play music on here, and if we get a copyright thing, I'll just literally clip it out and there won't be any issues. But I gotta hear 20 seconds of Horny Computer, dog. I gotta hear it. Computer. That is a 7-minute song. Damn, y'all made some long songs back then.
Dude, we was on some George Clinton shit. All our songs were like shit, 7, 8 minutes long. Lover's like 7 minutes long. Lover's was 7 minutes. Horny Computer was like maybe 8. We only had 7 songs for the whole album. on the first World Class album. But again, we're thinking as DJs. Everybody was a DJ. Everybody in the crew was a DJ. So we thinking on the long intros for the mix. Okay. Same thing on the outros. We vamping like a motherfucker. Everything was very repetitive back then. We did the same shit for damn near 2 minutes just on the intro. Okay. Same thing on the way out. Okay. Till we got to our CBS album, then that shit got shortened a little bit. First album, we didn't know no better. We just was having fun, man.
Damn, classic. I love learning new stuff on this show. Before we continue, I'm going to ask everybody to hit the like button if you haven't already, and please hit that subscribe button if you like what you hear. If you are a fan of true West Coast hip hop, West Coast period, you are tuned in to N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. He was one of the guys who was there at the beginning. If you want the truth, you got to come to this channel. Please hit that subscribe button. Now, I want to play something for you, Lonzo, that I talked about on my show, and it was a little controversial. It was a little controversial topic. It's a hip hop related topic, but it is Kid Frost was on a podcast called Haters World, and shout out to Haters World. He's a cool podcast out there. He's doing his thing, numbers up. But Kid Frost was on there, and this wasn't even a topic, Lonzo, but there was about a 30-second clip that Kid Frost said something, and it caught my attention, so I thought I'd bring it to the show and share it. I'm going to play it right here. This is Kid Frost saying that if it weren't for Mexicans, Latinos, Hispanics, that black artists wouldn't have sold millions.
My people, if the Panther that's listening right now, you are the ones that made Ice Cube platinum. You are the ones that made DJ Quick platinum. Without our gente and our raza and our Mexican people, these artists would have never sold, these Little Waynes, and these artists would have never, Tupac's would have never been as big and platinum. Mexicans made these artists go platinum.
Just a little 30-second clip that caught my attention. What are your thoughts on that, Lons?
Motherfucker ain't lying. He is not lying. As world-class wrecking crew, 85 to 90% of the crowds I played for was Latino. I have played car shows and concerts. Wasn't a black person in the room except for us on stage and backstage. Okay, Latinos have a loyalty to their music that's can't be shaken by nobody. Okay, right now, if I go to a car show, I'm gonna get more love in the car show than I would in the mall. Okay. If they put me on a car show right now, we've had them conversations. World Class Wrecking Crew will get more love. But you know the song they gonna fiend for? Lovers. They're gonna fiend for Lovers. Turn Off the Lights will be second, but they're gonna fiend for Lovers. They love that song. Most of the shows I did in Texas, New Mexico, California, Nevada. I mean, shit. Most of the shows I've done, man, I'm telling you, we didn't see a lot of black folks till we went down south. We cut our teeth on Latino crowd. When I was one of the first shows we ever did as World Class Wrecking Crew was in Sacramento at a fair. You know who was on the show with us? Fucking Kid Frost. No bullshit. Me and Frost been friends for 40-some years. Okay? Ain't no bullshit. When we drove, it was Wrecking Crew, Bobby Jimmy and the Critters, I think LA Dream Team. We all drove our cars. I just got my BMW. Them niggas drove in the van in the mobile home. I drove my BMW. I had the Sheen, and that's the old school word. And Frost was already there, and we rocked, we partied, we had a good time, did this thing. And because our music was just very appealing to the Latino crowd. And somebody else was in that crowd that day. He told me out of his own mouth what he experienced that day. And that was Jay King from Timex Social Club or Club Nouveau. We played Sacramento, and Jay said, "Hey, man, I saw y'all at that fair that day, and that inspired me to be in the record business." He later got with my manager and some of my folks, and he blew up. Sacramento was our first club First club we ever played, period, in life outside of LA was a club called Vortex. Vortex was a Latino club, mostly Mexicans. Real talk. Few blacks, but mostly Mexicans. When we played that fair, shit. Wasn't no Afro picks in that crowd. Nope, not at all. So yeah, I got to give Frost a little credit on that. I'm not gonna say that but he didn't say it. I'm not gonna say it either. They weren't the sole reason. They gave it that extra boost that we wasn't getting in the beginning.
Correct. That's exactly what he said. That's what you pretty much said.
Latinos gave us that extra boost. They were more receptive to our music than our own people were. Then we have people that liked it, but one thing about it, my people, shit, your ass hot today. Next, but Latinos, they still blowing, rocking with Rocky Badilla. They still rocking with the Delphonics. They still rock with shit from back in the day. They have a old soul when it comes to their music, especially when it comes to lowriders. My first licensing deal, Lowrider Magazine, Thump Records, first licensing deals. That's what made us blow up. That's what Bill Walker and Thump Records. We stayed in the he did all those lowrider compilations, and then the dude that ran Lowrider Magazine was doing all those car shows. We was on the car show tour, and they loved us. Me and Yella did a book signing last year in East LA. Shit, you swear it was 1986 or some shit. Where we got respected. No shit, real talk.
That's dope. Art Chavez has a quick question about Kid Frost. He says, Lonzo, Kid Frost you're talking about is the electro era, Terminator Rough Cuts. Was he with the Spin Masters at the time?
Can't say. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to look that up. Definitely. Yeah, Lonzo, why do you think, and I mentioned this, and oh my God, I said literally almost what you said to a T, Lonzo, on my show, and I got backlash from black folks. Is it because I'm light skinned? I'm married to a Latina. Now we have a dude 20 years older than me who grew up, who literally created hip hop. Lonzo Williams, or not created, who literally was there at the creation of hip hop, saying the same exact thing. Why do you think a lot of our people get upset when we give props like, yes, those motherfuckers helped us sell millions of records?
This lack of ignorance, man. We it's funny. We want to claim hip hop as our own, which it is. It's very largely our own. We don't want to give nobody else no credit for supporting it. That's all they saying. They ain't saying they created it. They say they supported it in a big way, which ain't no crime in that, and they did. That's why I say I miss the record business. Not the music business, but the record business. Man, I'd go out to, I didn't know about it. We fucked it. I'd go out to, what's that swap meet? Santa Fe Springs swap meet.
Oh yeah, that's my shit on Sundays, boy.
Santa Fe Springs swap meet. Sell a bunch of records. Norwalk Records right here in Norwalk, California. My boy, he died recently. They were all my people, man, and they would invite
Lonzo,
me. Huh?
Not to cut you off, can you stop there? Because I'm literally doing research right now on Norwalk Records, because I used to buy records from there, and a lot of groups, Norwalk's Most Wanted, N.W.A, Norwalk's Most Wanted came out of Norwalk Records. Can you go into Norwalk Records, whatever you know about them? Because the history is fascinating to me.
I'm trying to figure out the guy's name. He just died. I think it was Richard. His name was Richard. Richard was the owner of Norwalk Records. Richard had a one-stop. It was a brick building on the side over there, but he was also connected with Thump. I think Richard's sister or something was married to Bill Walker, and they had another store on Norwalk Boulevard. Okay. Richard, he hustled. It was a different game. Okay. And they had record hustlers. Okay. Which means you could buy, if you do Lonzo, you may buy a bunch of records from Lonzo for a good price, take them over here and trade them for something else that has, maybe a little bit hotter, or y'all just do an exchange and y'all go to your various retail spots and sell them all. Okay. Richard was one of those guys. Me and Richard made a lot of money together. He spent a lot of money with me. Bill Walker, same thing. There used to be a time when Bill Walker's checks came like the mail. You could count on them son of a gun. Things changed for him. I remember just hanging over at Don't Walk Records, man. Because when you are one of the guys, you get to go in the warehouse and see all the shit they got over the years. Just like VIP Records down in Long Beach. If I go down there with Kelvin, well, he moved most of the stuff now. But Kelvin's whole store was a warehouse of just fucking records and CDs and cassettes. And this shit may not have no value over here, but somewhere that shit has a value. And that's what the same way with Norwalk Records. It was a family-run business, man. Everybody in the family was part of the business. That's when the record business was the record business. Not the music business, but the record business. Totally different thing.
Damn, dude, good times. Just being a consumer, it's so cool to hear the behind the scenes. But another, I guess, faction that fascinated me was Thump Records. Yeah. They had a different type of marketing plan and things like that. What do you know? What can you tell us about Thump Records?
Thump Records was owned by Bill Walker. Bill Walker was a little short, a little stubby white dude. He might have been. No, he was white. He was white, the motherfucker. But he understood the Latino market. He was always at the LA County Fair, always had a booth out there. He was partners with the guy that owned, he was a musical partner to the guy that owned Lowrider magazine. Okay. They shared an office out in off the 710 freeway. And when you walk into the office, it was Lowrider magazine on one side, Thump Records on the other. And Bill was the first person I've ever seen that took the front end of a 64 Chevy and turned it into a table light for a podcast. I tried my best to get that damn thing from him, but Bill was always ahead of his time. Now, Bill could be a little bit questionable sometimes because him and McCullough was tight, and that's how me and Bill got tight. Bill back there loading up Wrecking Crew shit. Where the money at, man? And that's how me and Bill became acquainted because Don had cut a backdoor deal and I'm standing by the back door. And Bill's loading up his Cadillac with my shit and I ain't seen no money. Where the money going, dude? So keep from having a problem, Bill started buying from me direct. That's true. That's true shit. Now this kind of shit, Dre don't know about this. Yella don't know about this because they weren't with me back then. I had to do all the shit. I was exposed to all the shit. And Bill would, I said, I would pull up and there was Bill Walker loading up my shit. I think Unknown might have been with me. He knew he had a problem. He's like, oh shit, I'm busted. Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna slide you some over here. From now on, you guys sell me, you give me your shit and sell it to me direct. Okay. We won't whoop your ass today. We're gonna let you slide. We're gonna take this few dollars you gave us today, and then we'll deal with you direct. Unknown didn't deal with him as much as I did, but yeah, we started doing licensing deals for Surgery Juice to Cabbage Patch. And last time I dealt with Bill was during the pandemic. He was trying to do something to turn off the lights. But yeah, that's real shit. In fact, we got to get some of that shit straightened out right now because his name was on my shit and shouldn't be on there. But yeah, that was, Bill was cool. Yeah, like most cats in the game, he had his shade, but he, for the most part, he if he got caught, he would take care of you. And that's what I can say for a lot of people.
Yeah. Once again, another story. We've been doing this show for going on 6 years. Never heard that one. That's dope. Hey, before we move on, speaking of the Latino homies, Lonzo, I think this would be a perfect time to tell the jacket story. You told it a few times on the show, but tell us the jacket story with you and Dre and the Latino homies.
Oh, that and when they hit my car?
Yeah.
This is a true story, man. I tell the story sometimes people call me a lie, but I ain't got a lie to kick it. Me and Dre were coming from downtown doing something. And we coming down like maybe Main Street or Broadway or something that shit in this real dense area. And this cat in a Pinto full of Latinos hit the back of my car. Bam! And it hit me hard. Now Dre's in the car asleep. This motherfucker slept everywhere. He didn't wake up for shit. Dre's in the car asleep. I get out. I'm talking 2 tons of shit. I look under my car the BMW 635. Look at the back of it. It had the tailpipes come straight out the middle. Well, up under the car, the tailpipe is kind of suspended, but it's held up by two big rubber bands, big ass rubber bands. And when they hit my car, they bent the pipe and broke the rubber bands. Now my pipe is dragging on the ground. And I'm talking 2 tons of shit. Yes, I was that dude back there. Motherfucker, it's about 9 motherfuckers in a Pinto. Okay? Got to be 9 motherfuckers. All in the front seat. I was pissed off. So I'm talking all this shit. I didn't realize that there was a group of Latinos in front of this laundromat just in that squat. You know, that squat, that jailhouse squat, just watching my ass. So I needed a coat hanger or something to fix my damn car. And you know, and when I walked over to the coat, I'm in front of a cleaners now. Hey man, I need to get a coat hanger record. Hey man, in all homes, ain't no coat hangers. Motherfucker, you standing in front of a cleaners, and it's like 7, 8 of these cats. If they say ain't no coat hangers at the cleaners, I got to go for no coat hangers in the cleaners. Okay, and I go back to the car. By this time, Dre gets up. He walks out the car, and one of the cats saw he had on our Wrecking Crew jacket. Hey Holmes, what you know about the Wrecking Crew, man? So I'm Dr. Dre. Swear to God, on everything I love. The motherfucker like, oh shit, that's Lonzo. Dude, homeboy got me about 3 or 4 hangers. They went in and got me 3 or 4 hangers. They climbed under the car and wrapped my motherfucking muffler up. All we had to do was sign a couple autographs. Wasn't no pictures back then. Signed a couple autographs. Everybody was cool. That kept me from getting my ass whooped. They got my car home. True story.
Damn, dude. Love that story. Damn, yeah, man. Somebody said N.W.A. truly not without Lonzo. I mean, you told your story tonight. You know what I'm saying? You rebuttal, but unfortunately, there's probably 10,000 other AI. I think it's a losing battle is what I'm saying, Lonzo, but you got to just keep telling your story because eventually somebody will come to it.
Fun fighting them goddamn what's Back to the Future motherfuckers.
Alonzo must not have had a record to work on. That's why he didn't get Dre out of prison.
Oh, yeah, this motherfucker's like R2D2. Get the fuck out of here, okay? C3PO, whatever your name is, get the fuck out of here. And that, again, that shit had so much inflection, man. I mean, when you listen to that shit has so much inflection. You can feel the digital venom in this motherfucker, okay? You can feel the digital venom. Like he's just really mad at me, but dude, you don't know me. You're not even human. And I realized as I listened to more of it, it took me a second to realize what was happening. Because you could tell by sometimes they can't pronounce certain names like Suge. They call it Shug. You know, Shug. Oh, this motherfucker.
They called Michelle A. Michelle. Michelle was a singer.
Yeah. And the whole thing came about. I saw the tagline on this thing is they were trying to say that there's a double standard for Dre versus Diddy. I ain't getting into the debate. That ain't my business, but they was trying to say because Diddy getting canceled, Dre getting a Star of Walk of Fame, and allegedly he's done some shit that people may have got them canceled. But that's why I just want to hear what they had to say. And if I'm in this shit, what the fuck? And it's kind of frustrating. That's all. Because no matter what you do, I'm always the bad guy, but everybody else the goddamn hero. Damn it, I had a Captain Sable whole jacket on too.
Let's end it with one more question before we wrap it up. Funky Thing Production says, Lonzo, do you think Dre's longevity as being the best hip hop producer comes from him having serious knowledge of R&B music from the 60s and 70s?
Definitely. Most of the stuff that we did in the very beginning was original creations that we thought were similar to Kraftwerk, Soul Sonic Force. But when we finally jumped on Turn Off the Lights and did a recreation of a 70s hit, that became the new format. And without that framework, you don't have the same, you don't have Doggy Style, you don't have the Chronic, you don't have none of that shit. Because all that stuff was based around the framework of older R&B records that had been reproduced, fattened up. Because Dre didn't sample a lot. He didn't sample. He'd hire musicians to come in and actually redo the songs, and he would loop that kind of shit. That's how you got Doggy Style. That's how you got with the G thing. All that stuff, all that stuff is a recreation of a real musical time, which was the 70s.
All right, I have a personal question for you. One last one, and then we'll wrap it up. But all right, this is coming from me. Did you ever smash a chick while playing one of your songs in the background? Don't lie.
Actually, no. Actually, no. He went on
Come on,
crazy.
horny computer. Computer.
Actually, and truthfully, if a girl wanted to get disqualified from me smashing, be a groupie. I never cared for smashing groupies, man, because you know what they wanted. They just wanted to be groupies. I mean, man, I ain't gonna lie and say I didn't smash none. I knocked one of them down or whatever. But once you realize they were just a groupie, I'm cool. But on the other hand, shit, my teammates, first thing they did, check out my new shit. Okay, that was a calling card. That wasn't my calling card. I'm weird. I do different shit. I don't, hey, what can I tell you? That's why I'm still doing what I'm doing today.
Damn, and you toured with some big acts. So I guess they would you is it fair to say that World Class Wrecking Crew got the leftovers of the cameos and the whoever you guys were performing with the opening? You know what I mean?
Really, man, because we were more accessible. Those guys disappeared. They disappeared after the show. Okay, they were a little bit older. They were a lot more experienced. So they had their own set of groupies. They didn't, they wasn't picking up. A lot of them wasn't picking up no new groupies, on the road or whatever. Some of these cats was even married. So, everybody was up for grabs, man. It was just a free for all.
Damn, the 80s, man. Sounds like such a good time.
All we had was syphilis and gonorrhea. Shit, a shot and 2 weeks off. You back in business? Come on, man. That shit was
3 AIDS. Oh, forget about it.
Dude, when the AIDS came around, I remember I had a record I was working for a friend of mine called Doggy Style. And when Magic Johnson announced he had AIDS, HIV, thank you. It was the end of all sexual records for about a month. Guys paid me good money to promote this record. KGLH came looking for me to play the record, and they found me on that Monday. And the next day, Magic Johnson announced he was HIV positive. Shit, everything sexual got pulled off the radio for a minute. Just enough time to kill the project.
Damn, Lonzo. Now you can talk about your pussy being pink and your booty hole being brown, and they'll play it on morning radio. You
know what, dude? When I think about that shit, and the cancel culture is such a selective culture, okay? You'll give her a pass, but if a comedian says something about somebody from the LGBT community or something like that, it's just nothing derogatory, just mentioned sometimes, it's enough to get them canceled. And nobody has a sense of humor no more, but they damn sure ain't sensitive. And I don't understand it. How could you not have a sense of humor but be so sensitive? Okay, you can allow certain things like your girl, color the pussy, color the asshole. But if somebody says something remotely, Dave Chappelle say something remotely, possibility, slightly off color, he in trouble. And if you said it 20 years ago, you still could be in trouble. Come on, man. That ain't how we supposed to do things. God gave us all a sense of humor. The blacks, the whites, the Latinos, LGBT, we all got a sense of humor. If you can't laugh at yourself, man, shit, life is gonna be pretty fucked up.
Amen to that. We got about a minute left. I'm gonna remind everybody to hit that like button. Please subscribe. Also, please don't forget to check out Lonzo's documentary on Amazon, Eve After Dark. It's $1.99. If you want the real story of West Coast hip hop, you will get it there. It's a really, really great watch, especially if you are a hip hop head. Any last words, Lonzo?
And I just found out we just got uploaded to YouTube Prime as well. Whatever it's on YouTube, put it that way. Yeah, it's on YouTube, and it just got picked up on Tubi, so it'll be on Tubi probably next month. So if you short on dollars, you want to see it for free, just stick around. But but wait a minute before I go. How much? I got 45 seconds. N.W.A. That motherfucker's the bomb. You saw it. We got to go, folks.
Right.
We got to go. All right, folks. Like I always say. I forgot my shit.
From the one that never heard of me.
You never heard of me. I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in surgery, stuck Ice Cube in the freezer until he got cold on the eve after dark 50-yard line Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that Hollywood bullshit because it was all cap. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for Not Without Lonzo. Peace, folks.